We all want to increase productivity, and we all want to do that through a clear and measurable view of performance. That sentence says a lot. I mean, think about it for a moment. All organizations utilize some method of measuring worker productivity. Whether it's formal or informal, whether it's manual or computerized, we all need to understand the need to continually improve labor productivity. The traditional approach, of course, is to develop labor standards using any number of industrial engineering methods. We take an average standard and apply it to the average person to measure their performance against the standard. Below standard, we need to improve. Above standard, we get rewarded. It's an approach that's been in place for decades. And the technology we've traditionally used to manage labor, it's called a labor management system, or an LMS. Whether it's a spreadsheet or a database, or it's a packaged solution you buy, we generally have systematic approaches to managing our labor. So why then do we see warehouses with hundreds of people struggling to manage their labor? Why hasn't everyone installed an LMS that solves all their problems with labor management? Why is labor still a problem for so many companies? For many, there's a view that the LMS technology is just too expensive to purchase and maintain. Whether this is the case or not, it's a common argument I hear from people who do not use LMS technology. It's time-consuming to create and manage standards, and it typically requires a WMS to get the full benefit of a solution. For sophisticated operations, this all might make sense, but right or wrong, this is a perception of the technology. So let's ask ourselves, what really is a standard? I know I'll have industrial engineering professors rolling their eyes at me, but simply put, a standard is the average amount of work the average person should do to perform the average task. Because we can't account for every individual movement in a warehouse, we need to use standards to measure performance. That's the way it's always been. But is that the way it should always be? What if we could measure everything? What if it were possible to track every task by individual item? Would this change how we think of labor management? The Internet of Things and devices and sensors are going to change the way you think about labor management. It changes the way you think about standards. So how do we take advantage of this new technology? You really need three things to measure everything. Three things. First, you need a Wi-Fi enabled location system that's coupled with an RFID enabled employee badge. This provides the ability to track movement. Second, you need labor tracking software to manage through all this movement and activity information. And third, you need some analytics to measure current performance and predict future performance. You've just created a labor tracking and management system. At SensorThink, we like to think our solution is a bit like a Uber driver map for the warehouse. We can quickly see where everybody is, like those little cars, and what they're doing and where they're going in the warehouse. Once you've captured this information on an historical and real-time basis, you can start to have individual productivity profiles for every single employee. You can capture all employee distance, time, and task movement. You can analyze actual pick paths and picking patterns. You can measure the time to pick every single SKU in a warehouse. And most importantly, you can identify areas for productivity improvement. How granular you decide to get, it's up to you. But the technology is going to let you measure everything. And the benefits are pretty straightforward. You can analyze actual pick patterns. You can create more accurate labor standards based on the actual work task. You can quickly assess the productivity of temps and new employees. You can tailor the time standard to tasks being performed at the SKU or category level, and can capture non-productive time by employees. The Internet of Things is going to be a game changer in how we manage labor in our warehouse.